I think that Donald Trump thinks it would be better if he's president. I do not think so. Vladimir Putin thinks that Donald Trump should be president of the United States, and that's why Russia is helping you get elected, so you'll lose to him.
And some of y'all don't like it the way that I now spit like MC Dolls on the holier than thou kick. Smack your face for your blasphemous ways, and everybody they quote me like the latest catchphrase. I'm on a mission that goes beyond material, so eat this killer series, serial killer cereal. Killer for real, drop on the beer with a sound you can feel like cold hard steel. That swarm like the blood flows out of your head as I rock non-stop till I'm on my deathbed. And I can swap out a catalytic converter with a few hand tools, but I can never be murdered. Spit the rapid fire like around the shells. I got the lyrical skills that sends the devil to hell. So don't disrespect what you can't understand, cause I can still scorch your brain in the palm of my hand. Stupid.
Another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given the power to take peace from the earth and to make men slaves of it. To him was given a large sword.
What's good, my people? It's your boy in the building, MC Too Tall. What up? And what up with Bloomy? Going after Bernie, going in on Bernie, and spilling the beans about the old Russia collusion story, part 2. And part 2 is that they're trying to get a really good front runner to lose to Donald Trump, and that's what Bloomberg was talking about. And it made him look gangster up there, but people know what that is. And the President of the United States even used a certain word that I'm not going to repeat to describe this whole Russia thing.
We first went through Russia. It was all bullshit.
So it is what it is. But, they have material to rank on each other on that stage. And they were talking over each other, shouting each other down. There was, as usual when things are run mostly by liberals, there's no order. There's like all this chaos all over the place. And you get people talking about how they're self-disciplined, like Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden. Joe Biden is another one that surprised me, by the way. He seemed alert and aware of his surroundings. Good for him. He didn't get much mic time, though. He let a lot, the people running the debate let everyone else go past their time, but they kept cutting Joe off. And you gotta look at it from this angle, though. If you're a guy that keeps talking about things like little kids touching your leg and sitting in a prison cell with Nelson Mandela, or getting beaten up and arrested in South Africa for trying to meet Nelson Mandela, or closing a great treaty with Deng Xiaoping when he was dead for 2.5 decades during the date of this supposed treaty. People aren't going to give you much mic time. So I don't blame the people running the debate for not giving him the mic time, but the little mic time that he had, he utilized pretty well, surprisingly well. Bernie, who was like head and shoulders ahead of everybody, he slipped because you got people heckling him and him yelling back at the hecklers, and he didn't look too good. And doubling down on his support of Fidel Castro. And Pete Buttigieg says we shouldn't be talking about the brighter side of the Castro regime. And he may have a point there. The odd thing with Buttigieg is that he's not electable. And people would say, well, why? He kind of makes sense. He's a war veteran, this, that, and the other thing. He runs a city pretty nicely, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But you got to understand, the voters of that brood there, they don't want normalcy. They want the chaos. They want extremist stuff. They want people who back up Castro versus people who are in the pockets of Wall Street tycoons. They want that. And yeah, somebody like Buttigieg is neither one. Maybe he might be in the pocket of Silicon Valley, but that's for a later video. So they don't want people like Buttigieg. They don't want people like Amy Klobuchar. They want fanatical people like Elizabeth Warren that, cry about Indian heritage that they've never had and all this other silliness. And she went in on Bloomberg talking about how Bloomberg told an employee to kill their baby. And, I thought liberals were pro-abortion. Maybe Bloomberg suggested, to exercise her right to choose. But Bloomberg actually denied saying anything like that. So it's pretty, it was pretty chaotic, but entertaining. I did find this to be more entertaining than the New Hampshire debate. So I will give it that. So I say the big surprising winner of all of this turned out to be Joe Biden. Bloomberg running a close second. I wouldn't call Bernie a total loser in this. The people that kind of like lagged behind, I would say, were Warren and Buttigieg. And it's not because Buttigieg didn't say anything that made any sense. It's because he was just overshadowed by everybody else. And things like that happen. And Warren needs to get out. Warren needs to get out. And what's up with this Tom Steyer guy? I think he's just a fanboy. He shows up there with his Argyle tie, and he's going to be known as the Argyle tie guy years from now. People are going to forget his name, and they're going to say, oh, they let somebody from the audience up there with an Argyle tie. And yeah, he's just fanning out on everybody else. And it's so funny is that he's the only other billionaire there besides Bloomberg. And they were bookending the debate. They were the bookends of the debate. And with that said, I have some other big news that you might want to know. Rick Storm's an asshole. And he should really shut his mouth about black music and sports, because he knows absolutely nothing about either or. And I don't know where he gets off talking about black music and sports and how it correlates with being a righteous opposition to Donald Trump. First of all, anything opposed to Donald Trump, there ain't nothing righteous about that. You know that. You know that, and I know that. And my Billy knows that too. All right. Stay strong. Keep kicking that slang. Oh. subscribe, okay? Subscribe.